Hello and welcome to more World War II 172 scale. We're going to take a review of Hat Brand's Tank Riders series. The 172 scale, we've got American, British, Russian, and German tank riders. And we have some examples we'll get to a little bit later of them on some of the vehicles I've made. We've got the sprues out, and we'll take a look at the boxes. And on the back, they show what they look like, and then we'll look at them on the sprue. We'll start with the American one. Here's the brand, hat. So there's 44 in here. There's 4 sprues. And then we'll look at the sprue in a second. We'll look at the artwork, so you can see that a little bit clearer of what the poses are supposed to be. This one comes with an option of the grease gun or the Thompson machine gun, submachine gun. So you see them sitting there with their various weapons. That one has a bazooka. That one has the BAR. You get a couple of tank commanders to put in hatches. Let's take a look at the sprue, see if we can see what we're looking at. Very nice. See the bazooka man there, number 4. See the different arms for the one. That one in the middle. Either the M3 grease gun or the Thompson. And you see the 2 commanders. One's just for the hatch and one's coming out a little bit more. Let's look at the back side. All their gear. And you see this one is not just a rifleman, but he goes with the bazooka because he has the pouch with 3 of the shells. So that's unusual. You don't usually see that. That's very cool. Lots of detail on here, depending on your painting skills, especially for this size thing. You can do pretty well. This one I have an example of. Let's bring it over. I have some of the men on here. This is one of the vehicles I'm very happy with. This is a captured German vehicle in U.S. use. I did an early video of this. If I remember, I can try to link that in the bottom so you can see this a little bit more in that video. And here are the figures. So there's the bazooka man. So that's what he starts out with, and that's what I finished up with. There's the one right there that has the 3 shells in the pouch on the back. So I have a number of those figures here sitting on this. This is very cool. I loaded it up and modified it. This is a Sturm Geschutz where the gun was damaged, so it was taken out, used by the Americans, and they mounted a 50 caliber and a 30 caliber machine gun. And I loaded it up with lots of gear, supplies, bottles, barrels, casks, gas cans, buckets. This was very hard to do. This comes in the metal that you have to bend and shape to make that bucket, and then that little handle on there. I wish they just come all ready to go. You can see the bottles in that little crate. And there he is. Very cool, very happy with this. So that's a cool vehicle, and that's the Tank Riders for that. This one I don't have a British one to show you an example of, but we'll look at the sprue. I start out usually by painting them a dark color that they're going to be. So this one's going to be brownish for the Tommies. A little weathering, and then we would go from there. Here's the sprue. You can see they're different with their commander. There's their helmet. That's the later war. A little different shape, and it's got the netting on it. It's got the Bren gun. Flip that over. So lots of details. Look at the box. And then you can see the poses better in the line drawings and what you get here. See their pouches. Sten gun. Very cool. Move over to the Soviet Union, the Russians. There's the back. All their gear. That cool looking helmet that the Russians had for their tankers. The machine gun, the Dashik, what that dinner plate, so-called ammo drum that's on that. Let's take a look at the box. Now, these are great, and they make Tank Riders, I assume, for a lot of other scales, but if you're interested in this scale or close to it, these are really nice to add to your vehicles, especially for the Russians, because you always usually see them with Desante Tank Riders that ride in and then jump off and attack. And then sometimes you'll see pictures, I mean, literally loaded down with troops. You can see the two tank commander figures. Some have, the soldiers have caps. Some have helmets. And there's an officer figure. And then we'll look at this. This is kind of cool. I haven't featured this one yet in a video. We sent them a lot of Lend-Lease vehicles, so the Russians did have Shermans. We've got some type of mud that matches my terrain on here. This is the figures. Usually they're darker like this. I'm not quite sure, remembering how when I did a coating on these, why it turned out that way. I'm not too happy with that. That needs to be darkened up and fixed. We've got just 5 of them there on a Sherman. This is very basic Sherman. This is the Armor Fast company for wargaming, so they don't put that much detail on there. And you see I didn't do that much detailing on here except putting on the Russian markings. So that's a Sherman. And then last, we've got the Germans. Tank Riders. Look at what we've got here. Helmets. A couple of caps. There's 2 tank commanders. There's the MG-42. There's an officer. There's the one that goes with the machine gun because he has an ammo box. Most of these I used up already, so I only have a couple on the sprue. And with the Germans, there's a lot to do, so you could have them for early war, a regular, and then you could also do, I've done some of these up in SS dot camo. This one you see I've started on this one on the sprue. Sometimes I like to paint on that with the basic gray and see their gear on there. And then we can see I've got a Stu, not a Stug, because this is the 105mm howitzer version, not the 75mm anti-tank version. This is another Armor Fast, so it's not too detailed, and this is one of the late war style camouflage where they did use some green as the base instead of the sand. So, and then it's got sand and the red brown on it. A little bit of tarps gear in camouflage to match these. This is sort of like the autumn dot camouflage. I have some infantry done up like that. Let's see if they got their rifles. That one has a machine gun. And then we've got a commander in there. This might have been a commander that was different than what was used in there. And then I have one of their unit symbols. Another tarp. Not too bad, so that's kind of interesting looking. Put that back and take a quick overview. And if anybody's been stuck with me this long on this video, that's the Tank Riders. So very cool. Always looking for more with different poses. So this is a very nice set. These are sold individually, so you can get whatever you want for the service and country you're dealing with at the moment. Adds a lot of character to your tanks to have Tank Riders on there for your dioramas or for your war games. Until next time, more World War II 172 scale. Thanks for liking and subscribing.